Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Brother Sister Show, a family-owned and operated podcast where two siblings keep in touch by talking about movies. This week, we're talking about Livia's pick, You've Got Mail. But before we get into that, let's talk about what we've watched this week. So, what's new?
I haven't really seen anything.
Weird.
Actually, that's not true. Today, I watched a couple of movies. I revisited one from my past called The Perfect Man with Hilary Duff. I found it on HBO Max. Solid movie.
Fair.
It's about she tries to. I think her mom. Every time she dates somebody and they break up, she wants to just move, and so the girl is tired of moving, and so she comes up with. She basically catfishes her mom.
Gross.
So it's very weird. So I watched that one. What have I been watching? Nothing really.
Just work.
Because we can talk about yesterday. Our attempt.
Oh, yeah. We tried to record in person. But, I don't know. Blue Yeti's not good if you have two of them. If you have one of them.
If there is and we did it wrong and people have ideas, then let us know. Because I'm sure there's somebody out there who's like, I've done it before. Y'all are just
we're probably too close. That's probably what it was. I think if we were at both ends of the table, maybe. But that would have been awkward to shoot.
Yeah. Or if, like you said, I think you had the idea where if it was cutting it really close, you could do it here, but you would be in like my living room.
Yeah.
So just a wall would be separating us. That would have been weird.
Yeah, but I don't know, I gotta think of the audio quality. So it would have been a little bit better.
Wouldn't have been the same. But yeah, I don't really know what I've watched.
Wow.
I don't really watch anything anymore. I watch You've Got Mail. Well, I want to talk about Invincible because you watched it. I want to talk about that a little bit more.
Boy, that was amazing. One of the best pilots I've probably ever seen.
Right.
Especially the ending. That last 5 minutes.
Fucking wild.
I've never thought of this word to describe an ending, but it was jaw dropping. It was legit.
It really was. When I first watched with Sebastian, I was just gasping the whole time.
Yeah, Kayla was. We just watched it right now. Mm-hmm. Again, I had to show Kayla. But she was working on some homework, and when it got to it, when it was happening, she dropped. She was fully paying attention to the show.
Is that good?
It's crazy. I don't want to spoil it. But oh my goodness. And immediately invested in the show. And I can see why they were renewed for 2 more seasons. I'm very excited to see where it goes.
I'm excited about that. And I finished, well, maybe I guess that's what I watched. Because I think it ended last week, maybe. But we finished it because all the episodes are out. We watched it whenever, I think it came out weekly.
Okay.
And we watched it, or I binged it with Sebastian, I think the week before the finale. So I finished it, and then that Friday, the last episode came out. So
dang.
Yeah, I know. It's fantastic.
I'm 3 or 4 episodes in. The first one is kind of a slow burn. But after what happened, I'm fully invested.
Yeah, especially at the end. It's kind of a genius way to do it, especially because I was watching, or I was doing something, and then Sebastian was watching it, and I think he was on episode 6 though, and I was like, "What is this?" And I mostly paid attention to it because I recognized a lot of the voices.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, have you never heard of this?" And I said, "No." And he's like, "Okay, let's just watch the first episode right now." And then so I watched it, and I think I had the perfect situation though, where I literally had no idea what it was. And he was like, just watch this first episode and we'll see if you like it.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, so that ending is so perfect. I mean, you were there when I watched the end.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely perfect because at a certain point, the music just stops, and you're just left to deal with the sound effects and just like the reality of what's happening, what this character is doing. And it's just so perfect. I can't stop thinking about it, and I've watched it like 5 or 6 times since.
Such a good decision to not, and because that's I remember when you said that. I think I told you I'm so glad you said that because that's all I could think about was how it didn't have any music, and how it's so weird to call it this, but I feel like it was such a brave decision to do that because
very bold,
especially with how superhero content is nowadays. A scene like that always has, fucking Guns N' Roses, or has like all these like a famous song in the background. And this show does have like, popular songs. Not popular, but it has songs with
some
lyrics.
Cage the Elephant.
Yeah. And so, or a good song choice is what I should say. So it has those, and so you would think they would use something like that for this, or at least a score, but the silence it's what's the word? I guess jaw-dropping. Yeah, it's deafening. It really was. It was at least noticeable because I don't really notice stuff like that. And then I think halfway through, I was like, "Oh my god, there's nothing after the music," because you just hear like, every single thing that's happening.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's on Prime. First episode.
Very good.
Amazing cast. But besides that, I have been another show. I'm just continuing with the Game of Thrones with Kayla. We had to stop for Mother's Day because we went back home. But movies, I watched Beautiful Boy.
Oh, okay.
And Peanut Butter Falcon. Beautiful Boy. That was the believe second time I'd seen it since when it was. I don't know. It came out, but I don't know if it was like directly to Prime or wherever it's on. But I watched it on the streaming service. And Peanut Butter Falcon, I'd never seen it before. That was my first time. It was pretty good. Feel good, kind of. I don't know. I liked
Beautiful
it.
Boy.
Beautiful Boy.
I like Peanut Butter Falcon a lot. I don't know. Beautiful Boy. It's kind of hard to. It's one of those that I feel like shitty.
Because it's based on a true story.
It's based on somebody's story. I mean, it's based on a book that is written by the person that is involved. But
right.
I don't know. I just, to me, I wanted to like it so. It had so much potential, and I wanted to like it so much more than I did.
It was very long too.
Very, very
I forgot
long.
how long it was. And I could take Steve Carell in a serious role, but whenever he yells, it's just like.
Yeah, he's such a good actor.
But... That's his name in Despicable Me, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the acting is so good, but I don't know. When movies are slow like that, it just feels like you're what's the word? You're just like slogging. Is slogging a word? Chugging through.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I'll just say slog. I don't even know if that's a word. But you're just like waiting. I could say waiting. I don't know why I didn't say that. But you're just like going from moment to moment, and the stuff in between is just not interesting.
Right.
There's like the scene at the beginning when they first see him, and then you're like, okay, and then kind of nothing happens, and then the scene at the diner, and then nothing. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like a movie. It feels like a bunch of moments put together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. Sad boy movie.
It feels like the Oscars where they have the clips that they play. Well, I guess not this year, but regular years when they play clips.
Right.
It just feels like that is just a compilation of those,
Yeah, which I mean, in a book format might work well, but I don't know if it transitioned well.
Yeah, because you need that like inner dialogue of, because I think it's from the point of view of Timothy Chalamet's character. Like his character has like the explanation, right? It's like an inner dialogue, and I haven't read it, but I'm. Oh, was it? But I think the movie is from his point of view, but I thought it was written by the son.
Well, the movie is based on both of them. They're both writers. It's based on the dad. The dad has a book, and the son.
Yes. Correct.
So it's kind of both.
What I'm saying though is that it's hard. I think obviously the hardest thing about adapting a book to the screen is that you lose a lot of that because there's so much explanation. There's so much. I mean, we see a lot of it in the movie, but I would rather read about how he felt and, about all these things about the specificities in their life and how they felt and how they dealt with it. And I don't think this movie served that story well.
Fair enough.
Peanut Butter Falcon, I just thought it was good.
Yeah. Not much to say. Pretty good.
Not really.
I think that's it.
Do you want to talk about the HFPA and how the Golden Globes are basically canceled?
Oh.
I don't really know anything about it. I
good on them, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, HFPA has always been kind of shitty, so I'm glad somebody's doing something about it. Apparently, Tom Cruise. You see what Tom Cruise did? That he returned his Golden Globes.
Really?
That's like, and the thing somebody said too is that he hasn't won any BAFTAs, any Oscars. Like the only stuff that he's won is Golden Globes. He's won like 3, and so he returned them to him. And he's like, I don't want these from you guys, from you pieces of shit anymore. But there was I should have read more about it, but there was an article that came out, I think in Time or something, that just exposed how shitty of an organization they are.
That's hilarious.
And then there's a lot of, not only that, but there was a lot of actors that came out saying how much they hated doing events with the I can't say it right, HFPA, which is Hollywood Foreign Press Association. But they hated doing events with them because a lot of the journalists there were just super sexist and just made created a really toxic environment, and they just hated doing events with them to the point where they just stopped attending them.
I'm surprised it lasted this long then.
And like it kind of makes now all the decisions they made this year make a lot of sense. I mean, the nonsense of it all just makes a lot more sense now, where I think it's just a really corrupt organization. And I'm glad that one thing I'm glad about is that they're doing away with them, what it seems like, because hopefully this means, and I know people like that that's like these people that weirdly hate award shows, like it's kind of like their personality. I don't know why people like dog on them so much, because people enjoy them. But like Golden Globes, sure, I don't need them anymore. But what I'm glad about is that I feel like this opens up a world or a space for one that's more inclusive and more ethical. And because I love award shows, I just feel like the big thing is they just don't represent
right.
or not mainstream, but what people like, or even just good shit. They don't represent it.
Very
they
outdated.
Don't award it. Yeah, so I'm glad. Hopefully this opens up a new avenue for recognizing excellence and like true excellence, not whoever wined and dined journalists better.
Here's to hoping.
But yeah, that's the only movie. We haven't done movie news in a while. That's the only one I can think of. But let's just hit the break. Book superstore magnate Joe Fox and independent bookshop owner Kathleen Kelly fall in love in the anonymity of internet, both blissfully unaware that he's trying to put her out of business in You've Got Mail. Directed by Nora Ephron, based on the play by Miklos Laszlo, written by Nora and Delia Ephron, starring Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, and Greg Kinnear.
So You've Got Mail came out on May 18th, 1998. Other movies that came out that same day were The Prince of Egypt and The General.
Fun fact, The Prince of Egypt scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, there was a part where it's like a story that's told in the hieroglyphics. For whatever reason. It's not scary at all. If you watch it now, it's completely fine, but it scared the shit out of me. Sorry, continue.
Critics gave it a 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb, a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 57% on Metacritic.
There right on. All right. Well, First, let's just talk about what we thought, and like broadly, because we're gonna get into specifics. But this is one of the movies that I picked that's considered a classic, but neither of us have ever seen. I, for one, did not like it. Like one
Neither did
bit.
I.
All right. I think that's. I think we'll get into it a little bit more. But to set the scene of a rom-com, I want to start off with us doing a fun little game, and then we'll criticize the shit out of this movie. So first, we're gonna learn how to build a rom-com. Okay, I'm gonna take notes because if this works the way I want it to, we'll actually just make a rom-com that exists already. If not, Hollywood, do what you will with it. Okay, so first we're gonna pick the love interests. So here are your options, Anthony. They're both they're both taken, but they are not with the people they should be with. So like in this movie, they both have somebody, but they're not meant for each other. Second option, two people that are eitherly is not a word. Either perpetually single, like in the movies like The Proposal. There was one called What's Your Number with Anna Faris. All those. One is single and is in love with the other one. The other is in a loveless relationship that they should obviously get out of, like in The Wedding Singer. Mm-hmm. And lastly, they used to be together when they were younger and they are now reconnecting, like in Always Be My Maybe. Which one do you want to choose?
So I kind of like, Wedding Singer is probably my favorite rom-com of all time.
This is just a situation, though. I'm just using them as examples.
I know, and I like that. I like that situation, but it's just like you can't outdo The Wedding Singer. So I think I don't really care about the first two. First one's kind of adulterous. Don't really want to get into that, but I like the idea of like used to be together when you were younger, or even like best friends or something like that, and now they're reconnecting. That's a good one.
All right.
I feel like you could go a lot of different directions.
Perfect. Okay, so the next one, this will still work. So the time in their lives, and this is the love interest themselves, but this also will like spill into the other characters and whatnot. So are they in high school, college, in their 20s to 30s, so just out of college or just like figuring out their lives, 40s to 50s, or 60 plus? And the goal here is to make a decent movie, like a good rom-com.
Yeah, let's go through a majority of the options. High school, out of the book. It doesn't exist.
Because I was going to say, if they're going to be younger, then this would be like when they were in middle school, which I mean is still a thing that happened in To All the Boys I Loved Before. The amount of rom-com knowledge I have is really upsetting.
I don't want to do 60 plus because that's kind of like Notebookish, right? Or is that not?
Yeah, I guess so. But you don't have to make The Notebook.
I know. I'm just saying. I don't want to do that.
I like 20s to 30s because that's what we are now.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was just gonna say 40s, 50s. No, because that feels like such a weird time in your life. It just feels like a weird time. Like 20s, 30s is like an interesting, more interesting.
Dang.
I don't know. 20s, 30s. Why not?
All right. The setting. A big city. In this case, in this movie, it's New York City, but specifically in the fall. A faraway place, like in Crazy Rich Asians. A different time, like in Palm Springs. Or in their hometown, like Always Be My Maybe.
You know, it'd be really funny. Like, I'm thinking a different time, because I'm just watching Game of Thrones, so it just like a Game of Thrones era, or like medieval time rom-com. That would be hilarious. Okay. All right. So I'm leaning towards a different time. Not necessarily medieval, but futuristic maybe.
There you go.
Different time.
All right, and then we get to the climax. I have only 3 options for this one. They don't want to leave their current partner, like in Leap Year. So that causes conflict because one person is in love with the other, but they're like, well, I already have somebody. One of them wronged the other one, like in To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Or a misunderstanding, like in Man Up.
Okay. I'm sort of like piecing this because it's like one of the last ones. I'm thinking a misunderstanding. And here's why. Because it's in a different time. If it's in the past, it's like a misunderstanding because one, communication wasn't that good. So
Mm-hmm.
like obviously, like you can't just call. So a misunderstanding is easy to happen. Or in the future, over communication. So a misunderstanding would happen regardless. Continue.
All right. And the resolution, there's only one option. They fall in love and live happily ever after.
Yeah, that sounds about
And
right.
just with all of the stuff that you're talking about, I was correct. This we are not original because I think you just made Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, amen.
I think so. Or
I've
not,
never
maybe
seen
not
that.
Pride and Prejudice, but Bridget Jones' Diary. Because from what I don't know if in Pride and Prejudice, if Darcy and whatever the main girl's name is, if they knew each other before. I think they knew each other when they were younger, but didn't. I don't know if it's a reconnecting thing, but
There you go.
it's a different time. It's a period piece. I think they're in their 20s or 30s. Can't really tell. And then there's a misunderstanding, which is the big conflict / climax of the movie. So there you go. If not, I mean, people can let us know in the comments. What movie did we
Yeah.
make? Because nobody's original. There
There's
we go.
only like 13 stories, right? Wow.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, and I mean, so the reason I bring this all up is not to just be like nobody's original and everybody sucks. It's because um every movie, I mean, I'm not a genius, I haven't picked every single situation out, but a lot of movies, like you just said, I think there's a theory, or I don't know if it's confirmed, but there's only 13 stories that exist and people are just making versions of those.
Hmm.
Rom-coms almost exactly the same, where they have this formula that works, it has love interest where something's going on with them, they're quirky, there's something happening specifically within their own lives, and then you bring them together. Then there's the conflicts that are always the same, and then you have the settings too. And I remember in They Came Together, which is basically a parody of this movie, where they keep saying that New York is like its own character, and that's like a huge joke, is that it's its own character, and almost every time you hear that, it's within a rom-com. So yeah, hope you had a great time making a movie that already exists, Anthony.
It
You,
was
you might have made
perfect.
it better. Well, oh, sorry. Another thing I wanted to bring up is that the way to make them different, because I named a lot of movies within here that are kind of similar, but they have their own little quirks about it. So like even with Palm Springs, there's a ton of movies that do the time stuff, or it's not even within a different time, like a period piece, but it specifically jumps between certain times, or it has time as an element that is fucking with, the storyline. Like in Palm Springs, the day repeats
Right.
over and over again. But when you add those little like we add these little characters, rich characters, good actors. You have the family coming in. Like Palm Springs is not like About Time, which is so different, or even About Time is so different than The Time Traveler's Wife. There's like so many ways that you can make the story different, and I think that's what's beautiful about rom-coms. It can be annoying because sometimes it can be very derivative, but it can be nice when you see the same kind of story. Like the whole Groundhog Day thing is a really good example, where you see them constantly over and over again, but Palm Springs really reinvented that genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think even if we did make this a full feature, that movie I just came up with your options. Like it could be it could fall under two categories. Well, one it's just like thrown into the pile of other rom-coms that have those similar tropes, or
Mhm.
it could do it really well. So like some of these that stand out to me, Palm Springs, Crazy Rich Asians, a lot of the ones that you mentioned are of that like that have that same material but stand out completely different because they're done so well.
And there's so many things that you can do that like, you can quote unquote do well within these movies. Like I said, it could be the characters, it could be the love story itself. And a huge part of this that I think a lot of movies miss, surprisingly, you would think the chemistry and the like romanticism of the couple that we're following throughout the whole movie should be the most important thing. But a lot of movies that fail, it's because they don't have any chemistry. It's because they're like, oh, well, we need to cast these two people because they're really famous. And we need them to be in a movie together. But then when you watch it and you're like, but I can't, there's no way they would fucking be a couple, you know? But that's my favorite part of watching a rom-com is the casting and to see if they actually will work, you know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll see a casting and I'm like, what? Yeah. And then, like in The Proposal, I remember that specifically where I was like Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock. I mean, it kind of seems on paper like it would work, but when I remember first watching it, I was like, I don't know if I feel like this is going to throw me out of it, but it actually does really work. I really like that movie.
Yeah.
There you
go. What a good one.
Well,
next, in a similar vein, I want to talk about the audacity of coincidence. Oh my gosh. The audacity of coincidences in rom-coms, specifically late 90s. So, just on its premise, You've Got Mail is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And after watching it, I can safely say that. These other ones, I've just read the synopsis. I didn't want to spend 2 hours.
I probably have seen some of them, so...
I just have two. Sleepless in Seattle and Runaway Bride. I've never seen it, like I said.
Any of them.
But just reading the synopsis on Wikipedia, it just seems so ridiculous. Like, I know they're like dramatized for the big screen, but it's just like...
Sometimes it takes you out of it, though.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is I'll enjoy it, but it just takes me out of it. And it did that for this movie too. It's just so ridiculous. Just so many things. The likelihood of any of this happening, like the I guess nerd in me is just like, statistically, this would never happen.
Well, give us you already teased out the synopsis, like that you read the plot for some of these. What is the plot for Runaway Bride? Or was that what you said?
Yeah.
Because I have also never seen these movies, and so I would love to hear them for the first time. Because I think I've seen a trailer or like a commercial for the Runaway Bride one, and I don't really understand how you can make a movie about that, but I'd love to hear it.
So I'll do Sleepless in Seattle first. After the death of his wife, Sam Baldwin, played by Tom Hanks, moves to Seattle with his son Jonah. When Jonah calls into a talk radio program to find a new wife for his father, Sam grudgingly gets on the line to discuss his feelings. Annie Reed, played by Meg Ryan, a reporter in Baltimore, hears Sam speak and falls for him, even though she is engaged.
Cool.
You have said yes to a man who went down on one knee, and you fell for a man on the radio. That's not even the end of it.
Okay.
Unsure where it will lead, she writes Sam a letter asking him to meet her at the Empire State Building on Valentine's Day. All of this is just wishful thinking to me.
If you would have asked me what I think Sleepless in Seattle is about, I would have never guessed that ever in my entire life.
Just the audacity.
And you know what? I feel dumb now. I guess I didn't connect that they were both in this movie, but I remember that's a big trope, or that's like a big thing within rom-coms, is that there's one scene at the end of a movie where somebody goes to the Empire State Building, and I thought it was this one, so I was waiting for them to go there. And so I was just so confused the whole time, but maybe I'm just thinking about that movie. But yeah, wild. Okay, what about the other one?
This is for Runaway Bride. Having already left 3 grooms at the altar. Just that sentence. Ridiculous. Because you know how much effort goes into planning a wedding?
Yeah.
Like, to get to the point where you're getting proposed is already like a long, like you're full into that relationship.
Yeah.
Then you say yes. Then you're engaged for a while. You plan the wedding. You go to it. Your entire family gets there. And you just leave it 3 times.
Okay.
Maggie Carpenter is branded the Runaway Bride by Jaded City journalist Ike Graham. But after his facts are called into question, Ike races to Maggie's hometown to save his reputation and report on her upcoming 4th trip down the aisle, during which he's convinced she'll run again. Though he's there on a muckraking mission, Ike can't help but fall for this breathtaking heartbreaker. 5th time's the charm, I guess. I don't know what happens in that movie, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah. That is pretty wild. And
I
remember you told me well, now I kind of want you to watch them.
Maybe.
To see if it does. And when you told me that because you kind of told me you were going to do this, and the first movie that came to mind was Notting Hill. Can you actually, on the air for the first time ever, can you please read the synopsis for that?
Notting Hill?
Also, these people, there's like the same people in all of these movies.
Yeah, what the hell?
Notting Hill, I think, has Julia Roberts. And Julia Roberts is in Runaway Bride.
Right. Okay.
This is a family tree within itself.
William Thacker, amazing name, is a London bookstore owner, whose humdrum existence is thrown into a romantic turmoil when famous American actress Anna Scott appears in his shop. Okay. That happens like on a daily basis. She goes to a lot of shops, right? A chance encounter over spilled orange juice leads to a kiss that blossoms into a full-blown affair. It's the age-old orange juice to full-blown affair case. I see.
Yep.
As that's actually the 9th story.
Yeah. Orange juice to the domino effect that's started by spilling orange juice. Yes, correct.
Yeah. As the average bloke and glamorous movie star draw closer and closer together, they struggle to reconcile their radically different lifestyles in the name of love. Well, yeah, no shit, bro. What the hell, man?
But I think the thing, though, is ridiculous stories are told all the time. So, like, what about these really stands out to you?
It's really the fact that they're all rom-coms and the fact that they're all released so rapidly, like in the late 90s. Runaway Bride, 99. Sleepless in Seattle, 93.
Rapid.
Notting Hill, 99 as well.
There's also Made in Manhattan.
I mean, there's a lot that I was looking at it. There's a lot in the late 90s. And it's just like, I know a lot of movies haven't come out this year, but I just can't imagine the like rapid release of rom-coms in the 2000s. I mean, I know there wasn't a demand for it, but it's just crazy to me because I didn't live through it.
And I think the thing that could be similar, or that's similar about these movies that probably bothers you, is the dealing in opposites. So, I mean, Runaway Bride, maybe. I don't know, but Sleepless in Seattle, she's like committed. She is literally about to get married, and he is single, and he has a kid that's like, my dad's fucking lonely. And in Notting Hill, she's super famous. Everybody knows her. He is a bookstore fucking loser, humdrum. What do they call him? They're like fucking loser boy that has a bookstore.
No, Meg Ryan in Sleepless in Seattle, Meg Ryan is engaged.
That's what I mean. Like, she is committed to somebody, and he's lonely and a loser.
Okay, I see.
You know, like it's creating the opposite effect. So, like, even in this movie, she has a small bookstore, and he owns basically Barnes and Noble is what it looks like.
Yeah,
and that's maybe those the coincidence in those two opposites combining, and not just combining, or not just colliding, not combining. They're not just colliding, but they're colliding within like love, you know?
Yeah.
Love is the thing that brings them together, these polar opposites. And I wonder if there's a pipeline, like a direct pipeline from 90s rom-coms, like ridiculous rom-coms like you're saying, to the relationship issues that people have now. Where they're like but he is completely opposite from me and that's why we work. And I'm like, what is it? I mean, or people are like, you have to have somebody that's like total opposite to you. You have to have all these things. And I'm like, I don't think you need to. I think you just need to like them, right? Like
yeah. And
but
I already know people are going to be like, well, Avengers, that's not likely. Like, what's the odds of that happening? But it's just, I don't know. It's just weird that.
But that markets itself as, it's not saying, hey, this might happen to you. Like you might.
Right. No, yeah.
Develop powers one day.
It's just so weird the when I started doing the research, how rapid these movies came out.
Yeah, and they kind of just, like you said, it's kind of the same as, or it goes into what I did before, that it's prepackaging, or not prepackaging, but it's just packaging the same old stories over and over again.
Right.
And some of them are good. Like I don't think you're shitting on them. It's just some of them are like the premises are ridiculous, but maybe if you watch it, you're like, oh, okay. Like in Made in Manhattan, that one, so Jennifer Lopez is like a maid that works in a hotel, and the guy that plays Voldemort, he's in it, and he plays he's the owner of the hotel that she works in, and somehow he mistakes her for like a rich person that stays at his hotel.
Of course.
And they fall in love despite the odds. That's like a big despite the odds they fall in love. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you look at every single trailer of all those movies, it says the phrase despite
the odds.
They fall in love.
Because everyone has odds.
A bookstore. She is a famous actress. Despite the odds, they fall in love. I mean, it still happens today. I wonder, well, I guess my question to you then is, was there anything that they could have done with You've Got Mail specifically that could have salvaged the ridiculousness and take you more into the story rather than take you out of it?
Yeah, not making it so damn long. Like, it
was only 90 minutes, right?
No, bro. No, I don't think so. Well, regardless of how long it is, let me look it up. I was like, okay, they're gonna meet, right? At some point, you're like, they're gonna meet. There was like an hour left after they finally meet. I was just like, what else is gonna happen, man?
Oh,
like, what else?
I thought the end was gonna be at the apartment when he got there, and he was gonna like tell her, and they were gonna, fall in love.
Yeah.
I was very surprised how much they dragged it on.
Just tell her, I am NYC 152 or whatever. It's 2 hours long.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
I don't know why.
Sorry.
It felt like that.
You know what? I probably looked at it and didn't look, because I know you're like, it's gonna be 2 hours, like you get all mad. So I look at the time and I'm like, if it's 2 hours, but I think it'll be worth it, then I'll choose it. But for this movie, I was like, oh, rom-coms are usually 90 minutes, so I didn't even.
No, it's more of like, because during the semester, now the semester's over, I watched a lot more movies. But yeah, it's just too long. And I think Tom Hanks is creepy in this one. A little bit. Like, just the character. Yeah, I was just like, what are you doing,
goes into my next point. Yeah. If you want to get into it. My next point, I think the last one, is titled The Case Against Tom Hanks. Well, Joe Fox, but I think the title is better when it's Tom Hanks. So yeah, he's the fucking worst. I think that's the part of the movie that I don't like. I hate, really, and I don't understand how, and if somebody can explain it to me, I don't understand how people in the 90s were like, yeah, this is the picture of what a healthy relationship is.
Like, what? They kind of like build him up as a bad guy, right? Because regardless of anything that happens in this movie, he
is the worst.
He took down her business, right? And like knowingly, willingly took down that business. But he somehow had redeemable qualities because he was kind on an online chat.
Yeah, like when he didn't have to show his face, when he could edit himself heavily, he was nice. Okay. I can do
Oh
that.
my
You know,
God.
like I don't sound like this at work. Anyways, I have bullet points that we need to go through
Right.
individually. So
Let's
first,
go.
he's a fucking liar. He
Mhm.
lied consistently through the movie.
2
And he
hours
did it
left.
willingly and, again, consistently. And without any issue, truly. He didn't
Yeah.
it didn't look like he grappled with any of it, of like, oh, this is fucked up. He just kept doing it. The first time being when he knows he's putting her out of business, but he still goes to her shop one. And he could just simply not go, not shop there, but he doesn't. And he makes sure, it's not that he's like, oh, I forgot to mention that I'm Joe Fox. He like, is that his name, Joe or John? Who gives a fuck?
It was
Anyways, he what was I saying? I'm so angry. What the fuck was I saying?
He makes her believe.
Yes. So he could have like just been like, oh, I guess I didn't mention it, or I won't say anything. This is kind of awkward. He stops everybody. He stops the kid from saying his name. He he tells him to, oh, go sit down over there and don't listen to anything I say. Creepy motherfucker. I hate him. Okay, the second time being when he finds out who she is, and not only does he keep it from her, but he makes her believe that the love of her life stood her up with no explanation.
Yeah, if this movie was bold, like Invincible, he would have just like found out that it was her and dropped, not sent any more messages, not seen her ever again. Like that would have been the end of the movie. That would have been hilarious to me, honestly.
Well, if this movie, what I would have done if I made this movie now is at the very end when he reveals that it's him, she would have left. And she would have been like, are you fucking kidding me? Left and never talked to him again. So next point, he's an asshole. Just straight up asshole. Small thing is when he was at the party and he just took all of the caviar. Like, why would you do that? Second of all is when he finds out that she, like, who she was, that she was Shop Girl, I think was her name. And he doesn't just leave. He doesn't just be like, oh, I mean, maybe I should just, like, not talk to her. He goes in there, not saying that he's NYC guy, whatever the fuck that guy's name is, and he mocks her and it makes her feel like fucking shit.
Yeah. If he just had told her straight up, I feel like this movie would have cut off 50 minutes. I think it was an hour left when they.
I'm pretty sure it was too. At least 40 minutes. But yeah.
Ridiculous.
And then when we get to that part, so when we get to that part where he, I guess, decides to grow conscience, I don't know what the fuck happened, but he went to her apartment when she was sick. First of all, I thought she was like lying about that, but I guess she was actually sick. I don't know. That was kind of strange. She was like, she kept saying, and she literally, there was one part that made me so uncomfortable where she told him, she was like, can you please leave? I think she said almost exactly like that.
She said it multiple times.
I'm going to sit on your bed.
He said it, or she said it then at the end or towards the end.
Oh, at the, yeah.
And when they first, or when they met, when they were supposed to at the
restaurant.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And she kept telling him, can you please leave? And he's like, no, I won't.
And it's all because he knows who he is to her.
Yeah.
Like he knows that he's NYC, and when she finds out,
it even creepier.
Yeah, because he says, "Oh my gosh!" When they're at her apartment, she's like, she's just about to say like something really bad, and he goes and he puts his hands on her lips.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
And he says, "Don't say something that you're gonna regret for the rest of your life."
What do you mean, Joe? Like, get the fuck out of my apartment?
Oh my gosh. Like, just imagine he puts you out of business, comes into your apartment,
and puts his hands on your lips.
Stop it. You're gonna regret this for the rest of your life.
I know. Also, that's a fucking threat.
Just straight up.
Like, what are you gonna do? Also, he has a ton of money. Can you imagine?
Oh, yeah.
If you were trying to... This is why it's so... Like, women are terrified of...
The power moves.
Exactly.
He's pulled.
He's like, don't say something you regret, because I will end your entire career.
He already has, though. He already has.
He's like, I will make sure your business closes down. Oh, wait. I already did. What else do you have?
Bing, bang, boom. Already done.
What else do you have? This apartment?
It's mine.
I will buy it right now with the money in my wallet. You poor bitch.
That's hilarious.
And what are you gonna do? Work to get money?
Because my ex offered you a job. Oh my god. That's hilarious, man. Spits.
Bet you're glad. Oh my god, never mind. That was really mean. Cut that out.
Your mom?
Yeah. You know what is like so fucked up?
I bet your mom see you fail or some oh my gosh.
She's probably rolling over in her grave right now that her daughter lost her shop, the only thing that brought her joy.
Wow.
You know what, dude? This movie is so fucked up. That scene when she leaves and she's like, really heartbroken. She leaves and then they have the audacity to show us, like, to show her mom and her dancing when she was a kid. And they're like, see, this is what she doesn't have anymore. She can't think about this anymore.
Just imagine
they get everything that you love away from you just so I can be the one thing you love.
I snuffed out the last piece of your happiness.
Just imagine flame of your passion.
Just imagine, like, 40 years down the line, they have like kids, whatever, and like her telling this story to her kids. Her daughter's like, "Why the hell are you with them?"
Kids? Why the fuck would you ever give him the time of day? Are you kidding?
Wow.
Just because he touched your lips while you were in bed in your own house and he was intruding in?
Criminal. Absolute criminal.
Oh, but he had a dog. So?
He had a dog and a boat.
Fucking dog. Oh, yeah, and a boat. Oh, the boat changes things.
Oh, man. That took a turn.
Shit.
That took a turn. Moral of the story.
Okay, I still have more stuff. Oh yeah, we already covered this, but yeah, he put her out of business. Like, they found love, but love doesn't pay the bills. I mean, I guess he's rich.
Joe Fox pays the bills.
He bought her soul, basically. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we just need to look more critically at the relationships in these movies, but specifically the way that the men act in these movies. It's really ridiculous. Like, just fucking imagine a life with that guy. There's no way he's just gonna change overnight. Like, everything that she hates about him now, she's gonna hate about him tomorrow.
Yeah.
It doesn't automatically become cute and quirky whenever you fall in love with this person, especially when you hate them from the get-go.
Yeah.
I cannot get over when I truly thought that I missed a part of the movie. I was like, oh, maybe it's kind of like Invincible where there was like scenes after, but there was no resolution to her losing her shop. She just lost it.
Yeah. The big business, lady. Get over it.
Holy shit.
You have a man now. That's all you need.
That's true. And Tom Hanks. You can't be mad at that guy. You can't.
Too much of a forehead. You just can't. Never ends.
Yeah. I mean, he did threaten her. That's probably their vows.
He said, "Look,
don't ever say anything that you'll regret for the rest of your life.
Look at yourself. Look what you're doing to me."
Oh, he probably gaslights the shit out of her.
Oh no, you never had a store.
Well, I didn't. I feel like it was going down before I got there. I think you kind of just ran it into the ground, if you ask me.
Sorry, just oh shit, that's hilarious. Oh man.
Just imagine the conversations. And then just the fucking punch in the gut whenever they reveal that it's him. I knew. I was hoping it was you. Why?
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Wow.
He's the fucking worst. Oh man.
I thought this was gonna be a shorter episode, but
Oh nope.
We kept on going against the case against Tom Hanks was
anytime
thick.
I can talk shit about Tom Hanks, I go in, man.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But I mean, maybe that's a testament to the power of Tom Hanks, that he's likable no matter what character, what asshole he's playing. Because I mean, there were certain parts where I guess he was likable, but then I kept reminding myself, this guy's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right.
Well,
I'm ready to get into the game.
Yeah, let's do it. So, we don't have to explain it. Who's your actor?
The infamous Mr. Tom Hanks.
Tom. I thought your H was 2 T's. I said Tom Thanks.
Tom Thanks.
Tom Thanks. I chose Bill Murray. Okay. So do with that what you will. 5 minutes on the clock. Let's go.
All right. I'm truly worried about myself because that took me a lot longer than it probably should have.
Like 10 minutes? Took about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but if I have it, then I have it in 3. So Tom Hanks was in Saving Private Ryan with Matt Damon, I think. That's a question.
Yes.
He is?
Yes, because he is Private Ryan. Matt Damon.
And that's and I've never seen that movie. So
me neither. But I only know because of YouTube.
I just knew somehow. I don't know. Matt Damon is in Ocean's 11 with George Clooney.
Sure.
I mean, I know that for sure.
Okay.
And then George Clooney is in Fantastic Mr. Fox with Bill Murray.
Oh my gosh. I think you beat me. That's annoying. Well, mine's not elegant because it's in 4, I think. 1.
Well, you can check Ocean's 11, but I'm pretty sure that's correct.
3, 4. Yeah, it's 4. Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan with Matt Damon, who was in Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, yeah.
With Tom Hiddleston, who was in Avengers with Scarlett Johansson, who was in Lost in Translation with Bill Murray.
Okay.
So that's 4.
Wow, that was 3. The scariest. Yeah.
Tell the audience the only movie you could think Bill Murray was in. The infamous Bill Murray who's in.
Well, okay, that's not the only one, but the first one that came to mind was Garfield. But I didn't know anybody else who's in it. And then the second one was Caddyshack, which I have not fully seen. And I guess I could guess who's in it, but everything would have been a guessing game.
Yeah.
And then for Tom Hanks, the only movie I could think of is Toy Story, but I can't for the life of me think of who Buzz is. Tom?
Me neither.
No, don't look it up, or don't tell me. I think it's Tim. Tim something. Tim Roberts? No.
Can I just say it?
Oh, Tim. Fuck. You can just say it.
Tim A.
What?
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen. I would have never got that. Tim Allen. Because I kept thinking Allen. Robinson.
Tim Robinson. What a guy.
Okay. Now I have to pick something for you to watch.
I've lost so many times.
Well, get better. Because I
was doing pretty good for a while.
Yeah, I truly, I almost gave up. I was.
You should have.
So sad
that I could
movie. Not think of anything.
Next time I win, I'm gonna make you watch a funny one, a good one.
I'll make you watch one that I love that I don't you might like it, but there's a movie called Monster-in-Law that I need you to see. It has Jane Fonda, Jennifer Lopez, Wanda Sykes. It's very good.
Quite the cast.
It's a rom-com, but it's not like any that you've seen, and I don't think it's a out there kind of movie, so I guess it fits within a good rom-com, or at least a different one that you probably haven't seen before. So
fair enough.
There you go. Tell me what you or I guess you'll tell me next time, but yeah, don't tell me until we record. But I think you'll actually like it, but we'll see. It's a classic for me.
Yeah.
All right, what are we watching?
Another one of Bill Murray's greats, where he plays not only the star but also the setting. We're gonna watch Osmosis Jones on HBO Max. This is a childhood favorite.
I hate that movie.
I love this movie.
It's so gross. I almost watched it today, actually, so I'm
really?
glad I didn't. Yeah, because that's how it was on HBO Max.
Yeah, I saw that.
Something told me not to watch it. I think it was my intuition.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good line. He's the star in the setting. Yeah, watch it. For next, I just want to pat myself on the back for that one because that was good.
You know what, Mark? You did good.
You did. You done did good today. This was a good episode. Good episode. Nah, but we laughed a lot during this one.
Yeah, I love talking shit about Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that'll be fun to edit. Okay.
All right.
I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. We don't normally plug.
Oh,
but watch. Yeah. Go to our Instagram at Brother Sister Show and Twitter at Bro Sis Show. We have those. Bye.
Yep.